Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name's Ryan, and this is Developer's Garage. It is Friday, folks.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
That's right. Thank you, Rebecca Black. It is Friday. It is the last day of most people's work week. It's the last day of my work week, which, hey, here comes the weekend. But my family and I did something kind of crazy this past week and a half, actually almost 2 weeks now. We sold our house. And I'll tell you what's crazy about that, because we never planned on selling our house. It's just kind of something that happened. We had a Facebook post, a realtor, somebody wants to buy in our neighborhood. We've talked about it we've been talking about it for the past 6 months or so, and it's like, well, let's just see what happens. We thinking nothing's going to happen. If they're going to come in, it's not what they're looking for, so on and so forth. But a week later, they made us an offer. So this whole process, never put it on the market, never did any of that, and we've sold our house. Now comes the fun part. We don't know where we're going. We have to be out in a month, less than a month now, and no idea where we're going. So we're looking for places. We actually have an idea. There's a rent house that we want to get, but it doesn't come available till a month and a half after we close on this current house. So this is going to be an interesting time for us. No worries though. We're gonna get it figured out. We're gonna get it done. We actually have family land we're gonna be building on. That's what this whole process is about. Is finally getting us out to this big acreage that we like, that we have, and it's gonna be really nice because we have a really small lot right now. We have a nice sized house. I love our house, but we have a really small yard and everything, which it's great for mowing. But if you want to go play and do things out there, it's not that great. But anyways, enough about me. Let's take a look at the chat room. Chat room, how are you doing out there? Looks like we have Coding Gorilla in the house today. Thank you for joining us. Hang on one second, folks. I need to check something. I sat down here and I'm like, okay, I'm all ready to go, prepping everything, but I want to see if I forgot something. I have a little visitor that's roaming around the house today, and she likes to pop in every now and then on stream and say hi. So maybe we'll let her pop in. Well, I'm going to stay here. If she pops in and says hi, awesome. If not, great. So yes, Coding Gorilla says, wow, I feel like I should leave after that. Yeah, Rebecca Black, that's our Friday song, and I'm white. I dance like and as my kids will say, I dance like an old white guy now. I'm proud of it. I'm going to rock the old white guy. Little shuffle from side to side. That's about the extent of my dancing. So, when we get a stand-up desk, you'll get to see a little bit more movement from me. But I'm sitting in a chair right now. So, dance. Oh, is that what? Yeah. See, Coding Girls. See, it's all in fun, my friend. That's what I call dancing. Now, what other people might call it is like, not that. All right, let's get started. Let's kick it over here. Let's display something. So again, my whole setup is an iterative process. So I've made some setup changes. So you may see me looking a little few different directions here. So I'm still getting used to it. I think I like this new setup a little bit better. I just have to get used to where everything is. All right. So NWA Tech Fest is happening. If you are in the Northwest Arkansas or the Midwest area, NWA Tech Fest happens each year, except I don't know that they happened last year. I can't remember. Anyways, it's a great little conference. If you are looking to get started in speaking and you're like, I don't know, I just don't. This is a great little conference to start at. I say it's little. And I'm comparing it to the big boys like Build and the Apple conference, Google I/O, those big boys out there. This is pales in comparison to those. But it is a great event full of passionate community members. And it's one of not the first place, it's one of the second places I think I started speaking. So if you're looking to speak and you want to I don't want to say test the waters, because these are some great people to help you out. They're going to let you know what you do great in your talk, what needs improvement, and that's why I love going there. Plus, they have a great organizing committee. Is that right? Yeah. I say that because I have some friends on there, and Mr. Kurt Haas, he's out there, a fellow, a former colleague, good friend, kind of gone to different companies now, but he's out there helping them organize and make it a great conference. So you will be worth it. And if you can't speak, if you don't get to speak, go attend. They have some great stuff out there. You get to meet some great people. So it's worth it in the end. Plus, it's not going to hurt your pocketbook. Excuse me, a little scratchy there. It's one that I easily go to on my own if I can't get the time or the budget in there. It's one that I go to as much as I can because it's only a couple hours away. I go there the night before, get a good night's sleep, get up, have a great day, and then kind of decompress on my drive back. So it's kind of a 2-day thing for me. But again, it's a great area. This time they're moving it. It used to be in, what was that? Fayetteville. I think it used to be in Fayetteville in the downtown. Beautiful little place, but they're doing 2 days now. So they've kind of expanded the event a little bit. And so now they're moving up a little bit north, which should be a little bit less drive for me too, into Springdale. And they're at the Jones Center. So I will be there. If you're in the area, come by, say hi. I would love to meet you. I say I'm going to be there. I still have to get approval. Rocky, if you're watching, I'd like to go to this. So, all right. So that's that. I think that's all I got because it's Friday. Wednesday is kind of our big thing. Let's get going. We're gonna continue where we left off on Wednesday, and that is adding content management to our Blazor application. So, a little bit of recap. I'm trying to get to our code here. We have our website. Let's go ahead and run this so everybody can see what we got going on here. All right. See, Rocky is in. Hi, Rocky. That was an unexpected thing there. Yeah, Rocky is my boss, an amazing guy. He's all the way over in the Czech Republic. So say hey. So we got our Blazor application, and of course, the site is actually on the other screen. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. There it is. There's our amazing Blazor application. Again, this is replacing a SharePoint community site from 2008. So SharePoint is like, not too bad. Yeah, go back a few years. It compared to today, it's not the best. It served its purpose. So this is what we got. We started out here. We took this meeting location and we're bringing it in now through our content management system. And we're also doing the agenda as well and this little after meeting snacks here. And the reason we did that is because we wanted to separate the management of the content, all this actual text, from the actual development side, which is what I'm much better at doing development than I am creating text. Excuse me. So, because you typically, most of the time, if you're in an organization, you have other individuals, other groups that are responsible for this text, making sure it's, I want to say politically correct, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be interpreted badly. So, and that's what their job, that's their sole job is. And so they maintain it, they update it with new things. And so you don't want to have to continually just get this new text and go make these changes and then deploy it out, so on and so forth, because you're not really changing functionality of the application. When we deploy our code and release features, we are making changes to the site. If we're just updating text, technically, yes, it's a change, but it's not one that is worth paying a developer to do. If you've got access to a portal and you can just go update it and boom, it's live, that's what you want to do. Because most of the time the people doing this are not coders, developers. So that's kind of why we want to do that, and that's kind of the route we're taking, because we have our good friend Sean Whitesell, who is the president of the .NET user group, my friend there, and he's not always around the laptop, and no offense, Sean, but technically I mean, not technically, but we don't really want him messing in code. He's an architect now. They don't do that anymore. He's a little rusty. Just kidding, Sean. I've seen some of the stuff. He's an amazing developer, but we don't want him going in there. We also don't want him to have a full IDE or anything, or someplace just to go remote in and update a JSON file. Make it easy for him. So that's where we go to our content management system. Whoa. Sorry, a little scratchy this morning here. And, yeah. So let's open up. So that is our site. So let me get back. So I worked for Kentico, which makes an amazing CMS product. They actually make two products. They make a full all-in-one solution, and they make a headless content as a service solution. And that's what we're using. So we're using the headless kind because the full all-in-one solution that actually does all your code for you and stuff like that. But it's also heavily tied to one technology. It's MVC right now. It's moving. It's changing. Going to .NET Core soon. MVC still, but we want to use the headless solution to branch out beyond just that one web stack. We want to go hit our mobile, our IoT, our web, desktop maybe, depending on whatever you got. That's where the headless and our content as a service solution comes in amazingly handy. So we're using Kentico Kontent here. I'm going to sign in here. And it signed me out. By the way, you're going to see this real quick. So I'm going to sign in. And this is something, if you develop portals, this is what's getting ready to happen here is what you want to do automatically. Kentico.com. See, look at that. It automatically recognized I'm a single sign-on customer. And so it changed and said, hey, I don't need you to enter a password. You're single sign-on enabled. Hit continue. If the browser wasn't known or the stuff wasn't saved, it would ask me for that stuff, but it knows who I am. I feel important now. Good morning, Snable, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. I think, Snable, where are you at? Are you in the, for some reason, I think you're in the UK, but I can't remember for the life of me. Snable says, we need some shader fractals in there. Maybe we can use some of those. Let's see what you've got, Snable. Let's see what you can come up with that for the Tulsa.net user. You're all the way in Norway. Wow. Nice. I don't know why I thought you were in the UK, and then my mind went, oh, maybe he's out in California. I don't know. I get confused. I'm getting old. It happens. Welcome. Good evening. Can you see the northern lights up in Norway? I don't know. I'm totally geographically challenged. And if you didn't know and you weren't aware, our friend Snable actually created do I still have it? He created us an amazing shader and shared it with us on our last stream. And here you go. I've got it going here. And I'll tell you, Snable, Rocky's my boss, and he loved that. And we shared it out with our company, and it's amazing. Thank you for that. Excuse me. All right, but anyways, back to what we were doing. Okay, this is not the project I want to be in. We were using not one listed in my drop-down. Oh, wait, let's scroll down right there. It is, Tulsa.net user group. Oh, man, my scratchy throat's going to be an annoyance today. In northern Norway, it's common, but I am in southern Norway, so it's rare because of light pollution. I never see it. Yeah, Coding Gorilla, when I saw that, it brought back memories of the flying windows. So Coding Gorilla says, looks like a candidate for the old school company screensaver. And yeah, it reminded me, I remember back was it Windows 95 or was it before? I don't remember. It's too long. anyway, just all those windows coming at me, and I would crank up the speed and the amount of Windows logos flying at me. Yeah. So, so here we go. We have our some information here. We have our after meeting meetup information, our agenda, our venue. So this is our content, which is the stuff that our creators are creating. Yeah, it feels weird saying that, but that's what it is. And that's what these pieces are. And then you have content types, which is the structure, the scaffolding of this content piece. Kind of all the fields you need to fill in, the fields that are expected by the developers so they can lay it out on the page. And so that's what we're using. That's what we're pulling in today. So now we're going to let's go back to our website real quick, because we're going to do a little bit more. So I've got a couple more pages here and a couple of things that are going to introduce some, I don't want to say new features because they're not new features to content, but they are new features to the stream and to this application. So, oh wow, excuse me. So one thing I want to do is I want to get this leadership page. I want to create some content that has our leadership in it. Okay. And then I want to actually go a little extreme here, because it's not something I've played with yet. But I want to take all these sponsors and I want to move those into content as well as their logos. And so if you didn't catch it there, I'm actually going to move the graphics files out of our application and put them into the CDN that Kentico Kontent uses. So we're going to move all of that out there, and we're going to make it happen here live on stream. All right, so we know what we're going to do. We know what our goal is today. So let's get started. eLink's logo needs to go. Oh, do we need to add a new one now, Sean? You are correct. That does need to go. New year, new sponsors. So if I think we got a new one for our new room sponsor. So give me that information, Sean, and we'll get that added. We'll get that updated. Or better yet, we'll get this migrated and we'll let you update it. How's that? I like that. I think that works better. I think that's going to be the perfect test to see, can our president update the content for our website? I think that's a good challenge. Are you up for it, Sean? You up for the challenge? Shut that down. That's my friend. That's Sean. He is always up for a challenge. All right. As you can see, I am still having some lighting issues. Let's see. If I lean back, does it go away? Yes, it does. IR Coder. Yeah, see, he doesn't even talk right. I'm just kidding, Sean. Where are we going? What are we doing? We are going to update. We're going to start with the leadership page. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the content out there. So I'm going to go back to our site here. That's not the right page. Did I close? I guess I closed the browser I needed. That's all right. That's okay. We'll do a new one here. Oh, no, wait. Oh, okay, here we go. I think we got it. Yeah, there it goes. Not sure what happened. Let me get my chat back so I can see what's going on. All right, so first thing we want to do, go to our content models. So here we have our models or our types. I'm using the type moniker just for my own mental sanity. It's one of those things, it's there. I know what that means just by looking at it. I don't have to spend extra cycles trying to figure out, is this the type or is this the actual content piece itself? Because I think our content we just called agenda. So again, anytime you can do those little pieces, it saves you mental cycles. It's going to save you stress. So we're going to create a new one, and we're going to call this one, I'm going to call it the leadership type. I like that one because we're going to have our different leaders. Oh, pardon me, Mike. are different leaders. So we're going to create one model that's going to satisfy all of these. Now, I do want to go back and I want to look at what does our existing model look like. And if I get my Alt tab going here, there we go. So our models, like our structure, we keep everything separated in different projects. So I have a core project that has all my models in it. So we have our leader model here and has an ID. And really our ID is more for, in my mind, it's more for sorting. It's going to be more for order. So we'll change that up because we don't really need an ID at this point in time. But we have our first name, our last name, and their title. So we're going to take all those with us. Switch back over. Okay. So we are going to take a piece of, because this is just text. So I'm actually, this first one's going to be a number. Ooh, yeah. And I'm going to call this the order. And this is going to be the order on the page that we want it. And we're just going to give it a little bit of text here. Order of item on the page. All right. Okay, we need to save our, we actually need more stuff in there, Ryan. We could save our changes now, but we need a few more things in here. I'm going to just drag this over here, and we're going to call this first name. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, I will say for my friends over in Europe and outside of the U.S., there are you call these pieces differently than what we do in the U.S. So I say first name, last name, but I believe in the Europe they use surname. Is that correct? And this is just more for my global understanding here, because I haven't heard the word surname in a long time, except on some what I call ancient documents and forms that I've had to fill out before. And then we want their title. And so I'm actually just using a plain old text field because right now, in my mind, I don't need any of this, need any kind of the rich text that we could get from that. So that's what we're just going to use. Now I'm going to save my changes because now I have my leadership type. That's all I believe I need. And now let's go. Again, iterative development, we instead of creating the entire model for the entire site at one time, I'm going to take it a step at a time. Let's check back over here real quick into our chat room. Snable has a question. Has anyone looked at dynamic content in Blazor, by the way? Can you help me out a little bit, Snable? What do you mean by dynamic content? Because that's a little bit what we're doing here. So by moving to a content management, the actual content piece is dynamic. I can't tell the difference as in my native language. We obviously use different words altogether. Okay. And I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to click over here and go to our content and assets. I'm going to actually create a new one here. We have our new content type, leadership type. Select it. And we're going to call this, president. Order number 1. As you can see, I have my my box here. Now, I believe this is actually part of the native control, maybe, in the browser, but I can't remember. Or I don't know if it's something that Kentico specifically added there. And now we can say our first name, Sean Whitesell. Sean, did I spell that right? Go back to our content here, our leadership, just so I make sure I spell everybody's name correctly. All right, title. Supreme Overlord. Right, Sean? That's what you are. You are a Supreme Overlord. Nah, just kidding. He's our president. For now, we'll find out next week at the Tuesday user group. Supreme Overlord in the making. All right, so there we're done, right? That's it. It's saved. It's ready to go. No, it's not. So I hid this over here, but we're in draft mode. Our website is set up to only do published items. That's the way we configured it. So I do have to publish this because we learned that yesterday. If I don't publish it, I get a not found exception back. So we're going to publish it. I want to publish it now. So let's jump back over here to what Snable said question real quick, and I'm gonna continue on here and creating some new items here while we talk about this. So Snable says it's a bit what is needed in a content management. I want to render a page from a description of what the page should look like rather than hard-coded Blazor file. So you're wanting to do page generation based on, say, a content management system. So the initial rendering, correct, but not the updates. So I'm trying to think on that because I'll tell you, we're actually next Wednesday, right here on Developers Garage, we're going to be talking about static site generators, which do pretty much what you're trying to do here with Blazor. I've not heard about anybody doing dynamic page generation using Blazor yet. Not saying that it's not possible. Actually, I know it's possible. But I don't know anything that's built out that does that. Something similar to like T4 templates, I'm guessing, is what you're talking about, Snable. And that may be the way to go is, can we use T4 or use templates kind of inside Blazor? So let's go with our vice president here, number 2. It is our good friend Steve Daly. And he is Mr. Vice President. Okay. I'm going to publish that. Yep, publish now. Do you want to make changes? So I could create a new version. We're not going to yet because hopefully I won't have to, because I'll be honest, unless the people currently serving in these roles don't want to do it anymore, I don't really see it changing too much. Leadership type, again, we have one more person in our list, and that is Charles Guthrie, our secretary and treasurer. Sean, I got a question for you. The secretary treasurer role, is that one role, or do we just have one person fulfilling both those roles? Because that's kind of going to help me set up my model here a second. I want to say 3, first name Charles, last name Guthrie. Charles Goo. I don't know if Charles wears red t-shirts or not. Charles Goo. One person fulfilling both roles. So they are 2 roles with one person fulfilling them. So I can spell secretary correctly. So in your mind, Sean, should we have Charles listed on there twice with the 2 different roles? A, 2 roles, and B, 1 role is combined. Well, you don't make it easy on me, Sean. Let's see what we got. We're gonna do 2 different roles here with the same name, and we'll see maybe if we can maybe do a little coding magic. Coding is hard. Working for me is harder. I don't know which is harder, actually. I'll be quite honest with that. Coding is hard versus... I think understanding... what is it? Understanding requirements is hard. Coding is not hard. It's understanding the requirements is, in my opinion, the hard part. Because I can code all day long, but trying to figure out what people really want... rather than what they're saying they want, because I don't think they understand exactly what they're asking for most of the time. Treasurer was the other one I was going to do. Order 4. I'm trying to decide if I want to get fancy. I don't want to get fancy just yet. We're gonna take the KISS method. Keep it simple, Sean. We're gonna take that method first, and we're just, man, talking is hard. We're gonna take that method, that approach first. And I may have to take a break here in a minute because I am like downing my water here. Oh, Sean. Oh, my gosh. Oh, no. Sean says, I used to, or let's start off. Snable says, modeling is hard. And Sean says, I used to do modeling. You could find my pic, and right below it was before, and I don't know who they used for after. Oh, at least he didn't prepare an image to put out there for us. I guess my mind is going to go there and take it anyways, so. All right, so we published there, so we have our friends out there. So now let's get going. Let's get back to our some code here. Everybody's a little salty at the end of the week here, so makes for interesting and fun streams, I'll say that. All right. So there's that. So there's our leadership information. We're going to go back. I'm going to use my content service again. And I'm going to add a new method. Public async task as always. No, excuse me. And we're going to do leadership. Leadership? Leader, I think. Leader is our title there. We're going to go get leadership. Yeah, don't need any more on that one. We're just going to grab everybody, return it. So this is where we're going to get a little tricky here. So I don't have one element I'm picking. I'm actually going to get a group of elements of a specific type. So let's get us back some stuff. var result. I always like using result. It's kind of my, I'm getting a result back. I send an API request, I get a result back. Await client dot get items. We're going to do items async this time because we want more than one. Items async, and then I can say, I can actually do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my casting, I think, this first time. Get item, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do the casting first time. And we're going to need to query. So I'm going to go back to our SDK real quick. We haven't looked at it this time around, but we're going to pull that back up. GitHub.com. Wow, my fingers don't want to work today. / Kentico delivery SDK.net. That's where we want to go. Oh, yes, they're having some fun over there in the chat room. We're putting Ryan in a dungeon. Yes, that's... You know, when you work in like a studio type environment, it feels like a dungeon a little bit. But it's in a dungeon I enjoy. I'm going to have to get some cool backgrounds. Maybe we can have some fun with Ryan and backgrounds here and put Ryan, instead of in the garage, like here, we could put Ryan in a dungeon. Snable, you get me the background. I will put it behind me. We'll see where it goes. And I think I can actually do, if you want the, I'm not sure if I could do shaders behind me. We can see how that goes. All right. Oh, hey, I'm going to pull this up. So, Rocky, if you're still out there. So, this is, I want him himself. This man right here, this is my boss. This is Rocky, who's been in the chat room. This is my boss out there. So, he's getting a little live look here on stream. So, now you can see what he looks like. Great boss. And you can see he's actually working inside, doing pull requests and stuff. Again, all of our SDKs, everything is open source except for the money-making piece. We want it to be open. We want you to help us help you by improving the pieces that you believe is important. We're only a few people. We can't do everything, but we want to let you, if you think it's important and you want to do it, we want you to do it. So feel free to go check things out. Add issues. We got 9 open issues. Create pull requests. Help us out. Make some changes. Make this an amazing piece of software. So, Sean, not with C# graffiti. I want the look down. Look right here. That right there. That little text. You could use binary. This is from the Matrix. So you could use some Matrix stuff, like falling around me, put me in the Matrix. Or better yet, make it Klingon and just put me in a Klingon cell. By the way, while I'm looking at this, I'm going to go down a tangent here. I'm sorry, I do this. This is part of being on my stream. Picard starts on CBS All Access next week, I think. I'm kind of excited for it, although I don't have All Access, so I don't know how I'm going to watch it. But my left shoulder. Yeah. Where the Twitch logo is? I'm kind of excited to see how it goes. I'm really enjoying the previews, the little trailers I'm getting. Coding Gorilla says it's going to suck. I will say I actually got to watch Discovery. I really liked it. I really got into Star Trek Discovery, and I loved how it ended. I loved how they ended it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of exciting. So I'm kind of going to see how they do with Picard. It's also kind of cool to see the old gang getting back together. All right. So here we go. This is what we want to do. We're wanting to get it. We want to get them by type because we're going to use our leadership type. So this is where it used brewer. And this is a little bit more than what we want. And look at that. Ooh, an order parameter. That's where we have our order come in. Snable says he liked Orville. I do too. I think it's coming back soon. I can't wait for it. So I've got some things. I'm waiting for them to start popping back up. Because there were several things that they didn't come back in the fall. They're bringing them back in the winter, spring thing. That's weird, really odd. Orville moved over to Hulu. So Hulu's producing Orville. I'm okay with that because I have Hulu. And I'm okay with that. I can't wait for it. So Coding Girl says, okay, FYI, 7 of 9 has never had any interactions with Picard. So WTF. What? Oh, that's true. That's right. I keep forgetting Locutus. They never met. They never had any. Interesting. All right. So get back in here real quick. We're going to do a new equals filter. How do I need to do this? Okay. Yep. A new equals filter, and then we're going to have it's doing system.type. I kind of wish we had an enumeration there, but I don't know enough about it behind the scenes to know whether an enumeration is even possible. So, but again, everything's constantly improved. Maybe it's an improvement we could go out and make and do a PR. But we got to think. There's a lot more stuff we got to think about when this kind of stuff makes a change. And so system type. And what do we call it? I think we said leadership type. Let's look back here. I'm going to go back to my types. Leadership type. Okay. I can't. You're right, Sean. Sean says you can make a custom enum, then convert it to string there. You're right. I could do that. Maybe we do that in a minute. Oh, pardon me. Okay. Leadership type. Leadership type. Because we learned last time they replace spaces with underscores. That's why we're doing that. Oh, man. YouTube, SNL, Restaurant Enterprise. I will have to do that after this. He's falling out of his chair. We'll do that. I'm going to do that after stream. This is a family stream. You never know what's going to happen on YouTube. So, all right. So now we're getting back a list of items, and so we're gonna want to see this new list. And I say that this is actually going to be a list that comes back. At least right now, it may be an IEnumerable. But we're going to change this, change that up. Because I also have to go update my interface. All right, there we go. Okay, and I need to return something here. And simply because I don't know what I'm returning just yet. New list leader. That's simple. Now I can put a breakpoint here and see what do I actually get back. But we got to call it, right? So let's go. We have somewhere in here, we have a server that's already returning this information. It's going to be a website data service. There it is. Let's go see where this is called. Website data service. Leadership.razor. Okay. Sorry, we have a party going on this evening. I'm getting some text about what's going on with the party. All right, so this actually calls the website data service directly. I'm curious. Let's actually inject our content service. Content. What time should I be at the party? Oh, I don't know. How about never? No, just kidding. It's a neighborhood party. Otherwise, you would be there, Sean. It's also raining, so I'm trying to figure out how this party is even going to work with all the rain. So you see here, I tried to inject this type, but it's like, hey, I don't know what this is. So normally we put our usings up here, and we can do that there. So we can put an @ using. Wait a second. Why isn't that working? Actually, I need to put interfaces. There it is. So I can put my usings there, or if it's something that's we're going to want to use globally, I can go put it inside my imports.razor file, which I could put there. But right now, don't need it there. Let's get back here. If I had feelings, they would be hurt. Yes, my Borg friend, it would be. What would be your Borg name, Sean? I don't know. Maybe that would be a cool little generator we could make sometime. A Borg name generator. There's probably actually one somewhere. Already out there. All right, so we get leaders that way. And I just want to... Kentico. That would be mine. Now, Sean doesn't work for Kentico. So, this channel is set for assimilation. I don't know. Be interesting. So, all right. So, I get back. Come on, right. Leaders 1. Yeah, that's always how we do things around here. Await. And we're going to use our content service. And I just accidentally hit the insert key. I want to make sure I insert and not overwrite. .get leadership. All right, so this is going to allow me to fire that off. So let's bring this up. Let's get this fired off. Let's see what we got going on here. That's true. Borgs don't have names; they have numbers. But to deal with the human population, they gave. I'm sorry, I can't say human. In order to deal with organic bipeds, completely organic bipeds, they gave them a name, something that was more recognizable rather than a number. All right, there we go. We broke. Did we break where we needed to be? There we go. All right, let's look at our result here. What did we get back? So we got a list of items. We got 4 items, which is what we were expecting. So let's look. So okay, there we go. We've got order. Oh, I forgot to put the order in there. We'll do that in a second. First name. Okay, that looks good. That looks right. Okay. All right. So we're getting our information back now. So let's get going on. Designation, says Coding Gorilla. Yes. So we want to do and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this on around. New order parameter. And we're going to use order, right? That's what it was. I look at my content type. That's it. Order. Okay. We need to go ahead and close that up. There we go. Okay. But now we're going to add a type in here. We're going to add the leader type. And then we're going to come back to our leader type and we're going to update some things. Because I don't think this will work. Because a couple things. I don't have order in there. I just have ID. But we could do a new prop here. I'm going to actually add in our int. I'm going to put order. Okay. That's good. That's it. And this won't work. This right here piece won't work either because we have first name. I don't think. I think it's going to require an underscore, which is mean we're going to have to do our data annotations. But let's find out. Let's experiment. Let's explore. Leadership. There's that, but that's not what I want. I wanted my excuse me, content service. So I'm expecting a list back. So if I look at this now, I'm getting a delivery listing item listing response with type leader. Let's see what that returns. It's not going to be my list that I want. Or you know what? I could actually probably look at the documentation. There's that. So there's that. But okay, let's see what happens when we do this. So now we're going to our strongly typed models because we kind of know what's coming back. By the way, have you all tried this hint water? I love this stuff. It has just enough flavor that it doesn't taste like what I'll go back to Propel. If you remember what Propel was, at least in the Midwest, you might remember it. It's just like water that tasted bad. So, oh, we got us an error. What is this? Bad request, reason phrase, bad request. Okay. So it's talking about basically line 40 is where we had a bad request. Wah, wah. Yep. All right. So why did we break? So, all right, I'm going to stop this. We're going to put a try catcher on it because I want to see a little bit more. If I get a little bit different set of information from my catch here. Catch an exception, EX. Bad type. Was it this? Is that what it is? It may be that. Do console.writeline ex. That's fine. I'm actually just going to break here because I want to see what happens. Let's try it again. Kind of my initial thought is saying, oh, well, I'm actually saying this is a leader type, but I'm getting back an array. So do I need a pattern? Do I make it a list of leader? Does that work? So unknown message, unknown error, bad request. Why is it a bad request? Why did that not work? Did I not do something right? Probably. That's usually how it works here. Oh, it is. So some of the things we need to look at a little bit, and this is just more the way that Kentico or that content is actually using what we're passing in. So it actually probably broke somewhere, and I don't know exactly where, whether it's the SDK or on the content service itself. But I bet if I add elements dot in there, it actually fixes it. So let's do that. Elements dot order, and we're going to go ahead and restart this. Okay, bring up my new window here. Show our leaders, and look at that. So now it actually worked. Let's look at what result is. And because result is within that try catch, it went away. But it succeeded, so that was the issue. So we had to actually give it the full... We had to give it the class name that went with it. I'm guessing that's what this is. Elements is kind of the class name. Or the array. I don't know. Dot order. But that's why documentation is so good to have. Now, what I would like to see that we could do a little bit better on is we tell you how to do some of this stuff with a code name of the required language type. Okay, there's that one. Filtering retrieves a list. So maybe did I get this wrong somehow? So there's enumerating. So we don't have anything actually in here telling us about this orders parameter. Now I could probably dive a little bit deeper into our documentation and see that and see what that might be. Snable says this needs a link provider. I don't disagree with that. But again, I don't know how this is building this up, so that I don't know what level of work that would need to make that happen. Because we use the builder pattern down here in our actually delivery client setup. So, and our good friend Rocky says it's a lot of work. Because I'll tell you, if it could have been done pretty easy, I'm guaranteed Rocky would have done it. He is one of our guys there that makes stuff happen. Okay. All right, so our order parameter there. So now we've got that now. But because I'm in a try catch, I went outside the scope. And so I'm outside the scope of that try catch and I can't see my result anymore. So we get to fix that. Take it out of the try catch. And I want to clean this up. Okay, looks good. Breakpoint. Now everything will work again. Show our leaders. Let's look at our result now. So now response items. What is items now? Is it an IEnumerable? Let's take a look here in a second. Okay, we've got our items, and they are of type leader, and our information. We have first name, last. Hey, it worked. Nice. All that is good. We're good. I didn't actually have to add any annotations in there. All right, so we have one little step now. Instead of returning just a new list, let's go ahead and return our a result.items. It's an I read-only list. Ooh, I like those types. And it's going to complain because it's not a read-only list. Does that work? Potentially. Yes, so I can do an IEnumerable. But you know what? I'm going to use the I read-only list type. I think that is actually perfect because we're not going to be modifying this list. So there is some performance enhancements you get with using read-only. Is it performance or is it safety? Definitely safety. Excuse me. May not be performance. What do you need a list for though? So I have more than one leadership, one member of the leader. So that's why we need a list. It's a collection at that point. I say list when I actually mean collection. IEnumerable is still probably better. It represents a read-only collection of elements that can be accessed by an indexer. What's it say about IEnumerable? Exposes the enumerator, which supports a simple iteration over a collection of a specified type. I mean, a list over enumerable. Sorry, Coding Gorilla, I'm still not following. So, I mean a list over enumerable. Which gives you a IEnumerable only has a .get enumerator, which gives you a forward iterator. The list just adds the indexing, which adds overhead versus an enumerable. So let's think about how we plan on using this. So this is where this is going to help out. So an enumeration, so that's basically if I'm just going to iterate over it, which is probably what's going to happen. I'm just going to iterate over it to add our elements. Versus the I read only is going to give me the indexer. But do I need the indexer? Micro optimizations here, but just saying, no, it's good conversation. Or not good conversation. It's a good thing to go over. So one of the things we're doing here, yes, this is simple, but these concepts can be expanded upon. And so that's why these conversations need to happen, and why I love having them in this chat. You're right, it is small for this one instance, but when we're talking about trying to use this process or use this in a larger type application, which probably a lot of my viewers are doing, they're probably working in something not this small, probably working in something more corporate, enterprise level stuff. That's when you want to look at this stuff. So Snable says, the problem I have with IEnumerable very often is this. If I iterate it twice, will it do the query twice? No, it shouldn't. I don't know what you mean by query. Now, if you're talking in like a link to SQL, the iterator only goes I'm trying to find it in my head. It doesn't do the query twice. If I'm reading that right. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about an in-memory query? Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to go back to IEnumerable here. That's what we talked about earlier. And that works. And I just need to update my interface type here. Where is my interface? Not on my list anymore. iContent service. See, we're going to take this and we're going to make it this. That should suffice. That's not what I wanted. Okay. I want my content service returns that with that ordering. Okay, and actually let's go back to our Razor page here. not the meeting info. So we're done. Let's close some of this out, Ryan. Excuse me. And so here we're doing our for each. If leaders, IEnumerable of leader. So actually we can go ahead and we're going to, I'm using Control KC here to comment that out. And we're going to assign leaders, this to leaders. All right. I talked about earlier, I drank a lot of water. It's actually gone right through me. Give me a couple minutes here and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Whew, hopefully that wasn't too long. Looks like you all have been having a good old conversation going on in the chat room. Hey, Rocky, thank you for the bits. Appreciate that. All right, so we've got this. Let's see, does this actually work? I didn't run it yet. We just built it. All right. So there we go. Let's go to the leadership. Result.items. We're returning that. Let's go ahead and... So this should be actually pretty... it doesn't work. That's really what it is. Or did my breakpoint break it? Let's refresh the page. Home. Come back. No. So something happened here. Something happened in our leadership Razor page where we did a for each. So, what happened? Why are we not actually iterating over this anymore? If leaders is equal to null, then you put the loading, which is what we did. Oh, did anybody see it? I see it. So this var is our culprit here. So we have another scoping issue. That's not a scoping issue. It's a simple fact that I just made a mistake, as usual. Because that's what it's designed for. I can have a variable of the same name at the method level versus at the class level, let's say, or in this term, the function level. So if I just remove that, we should work. I don't, what? Whoa. I'm hitting things and it's odd things are happening. Okay, let's restart this. Let's try this again. Go back to our leaders and there we go. Okay, so we've got them. We've got them out there, but we've got the title here at the last. I want to move that forward a little bit. Because definitely when you see this Charles Guthrie try it twice, why is he in there? So let's come back here. Let's update this just to look a little bit. We're going to move the title. Yes, I know. I'm using table rows here, and I'm using tables. Yeah, later. We'll fix it later. Okay. And I don't want the F or the C in there either. That's a that's a holdover from the whole excuse me. That's a holdover from our default page that we were playing with. I can go ahead and get rid of this too. And let's run it. Yes, so Sean asks, leaders is a page level variable. Yes, it is. And so that's how Blazor is that's how Blazor accesses those variables. They have to be page level. If you scope it to the method that it's in, you can't access that from Blazor. From the Razor. There we go. Looks better now. President, vice president, secretary. There we go. Okay, good. So now we've got that in there. Technically, it's a class, but you are correct. Page is a class, but yes. Sean got schooled. Ooh, that's one of the few times I can actually say that. Usually, I'm learning so much from Sean as he's schooling me on Kubernetes and Azure and all this other stuff. So it's kind of fun being on the other end of that. Just kidding. Just kidding. So now let's tackle our next fun piece, what we're going to do. We're going to tackle our sponsors. So I have Tech Systems, eLinks, JetBrains, O'Reilly. Yes, I know eLinks is going to go away, Sean, when we get you access. There's that. Okay, and then Infragistics. So we need to get those. And so the comment was, personally, I would make that a function and do the for each var leader of get leaders. I would too for scope. This is what Sean says. So you're talking about don't do the for each inside the Razor. So leaders, so if we're talking about leaders is defined here in the function. And then I can get rid of this. And so this is at a function level. And so that's what allows us to do this piece right here. Because if we don't get anything, we want to show kind of a loading page. And this is if you have a long-running query or you have a slow internet connection. Yes, that's right. With the await, I can't do that. So, Sean, the for each is called here. When is the for each called? If you're asking when is it called, it's only going to be called whenever leaders is not null. So iasync enumerable. I've not looked too much into that. I know it may support it, Coding Gorilla. I don't know just yet off the top of my head. Maybe that's something we look at as we start refactoring this page. Again, we just want to get things working, get them working well, and then we can start refactoring to make them, to optimize them. So make it work, make it fast, make it right. That's kind of our iterative process we do here. And that we want to do, and it's how we should do. We don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing the making it right when somebody comes back and says, yeah, I don't want that anymore. Oh, no. As in on page load, page refresh. So we are using server, so it's on page load. And so because this is using the SignalR, all that kind of stuff, when this happens, when it comes back, it actually triggers another page refresh behind the scenes and reloads the page. Is that the right way to? Is that what it does? I believe that's what's happening. So, yes, once per call of that page. So, the for each will be run every time that page is refreshed. And leaders is not null. Now, as you see, it's very fast. It's very quick because things are coming across as binary. Okay, so let's go back to our. Coding Gorilla says Blazor uses a virtual DOM to manage changes to the DOM and then ships just the changes across the signal as I understand it. Okay, so yeah. But it's going to execute it on the server. So that remember, so that's the thing that happens here. This is server side. So the for each isn't actually happening on the client side. It's happening on the server. And then all those changes are being shipped over to the virtual DOM inside the client. That's because we're using server side. When you use WebAssembly, the upcoming WebAssembly mode where everything happens on the client, then it's executed over there and changes happen to the DOM on the client. Blazor is getting a little complicated now. I think that's going to be almost its downfall. Excuse me. Because there's really only one place where you can determine what it's actually doing. And I think you could actually mix the modes where you can run some on server and some on client. So the future of Blazor is bright, but it's also complicated. So that's going to be something interesting to see how Microsoft manages that level of complexity. Because with Blazor, you're going to be able to do it all. Okay, so now we need to get sponsors. I think Blazor's server side was a mistake, at least in Brady. So Coding Girl, they went around and around with that. If you remember, it actually used to be called. They used to call them Razor components, and so, which is one of our big changes we had to make when we started this whole process. Was we started when it was called Razor components. And they changed everything back to Blazor because it got confusing. And server-side Blazor, yeah. I didn't keep up enough to understand kind of what the whole thought process was behind the naming. I'm sure there was a bunch of conversations about what do we call this? Well, it's Blazor that runs on the server, so let's call it Blazor server-side. Yeah. Just wait till it's mobile, native Blazor. We're going to have Blazor client, Blazor server, Blazor native. And Blazor something else. There's another one in there. I'm interested to see what they call the desktop version of Blazor. And Coding Gorilla says Blazor WASM, which is WebAssembly, that's what WASM stands for, is going to be a game changer, but people are never going to understand it now. They're going to just think it's server-side. I think that's something they're going to have to overcome because I think you're right. Blazor WASM is going to be amazing. Getting people to figure out and understand. It's actually going to be, in my mind, an architect level thing is to determine, okay, which is going to make sense for us, which is going to be right for us. And the next thing is, what if we want to start with a server and then we want to migrate to WASM? What's the complexity in doing that? I have not seen it. I've not experimented with that side yet. I have one of my peers, friends, colleagues, Andre Polesny. He has a stream, the Kentico Boring Show, where he's actually doing a WASM app. So he's exploring that side. And I'm over here on the server side. So. All right. Hey, thanks, Rocky. Thanks for joining us. Glad you got to join. I'll talk to you on Monday. Have a good weekend, my friend. All right, so we're going to, where's my solution explorer? Oh, I want to stop. That's what I want to do. So now we want to build this out just a little bit more. So now we're going to come back to our content, and we're going to create stuff for our sponsor. So we're going to have a sponsor type that we're going to create. And my wife wants to know, oh, my wife's cold. It's cold here in Oklahoma. And it's wet and it's rainy, and she wants a fire. Unfortunately, she's going to have to wait just a little bit. I didn't start it before the stream because I was like, okay, then I'm going to have to keep pausing the stream to go put a log on the fire. And I was like, that's not good. Excuse me. All right, so let's go look at our sponsor type real quick. Sponsorship info. All right, so we have a couple things here. We have a name, a logo, a show info, which is actually an enumeration, and we have a position, which is kind of where they are in the list. So we call that position be order. Let's call it order this time. So we're going to start at the top. We're going to have a name. I'm just going to double click here. Name. A little bit of information here. Whoa. Sponsor name. Sponsor, yeah, sponsor's right. Okay. And then we have our logo, which right now is a URL, but we want that logo to be part of, excuse me. We want that logo to be an image. So we don't want to store that image locally anymore. We want it to be an asset that's managed by a CDN. That way, it's always going to be wherever it's closest. So it's going to add an asset here, and we're going to call this logo. But what this allows is it's actually going to, you manage this. So as I said on the stream last time, content actually is also a digital asset manager as well. It's a DAM. So I can upload my asset here. It becomes part of the digital asset library and then can be used in multiple places. Come on. There we go. Company sponsor logo. We'll use the same terminology here. I'm going to say sponsor logo image. And then what else do we need? Multiple choice. So we're going to do something a little bit different here. So this is going to be the, what did I call it? Show info is what I named it. I still need a better name for this, I think. But I'm going to make this an elements required. So this is a little bit different stuff. So we're going to use radio buttons because I don't want checkboxes. You can only do one. Now we're going to add in our options here. And so we have, I want to look at our actual type real quick and see, we have there it is, name, logo, both. That's what we're going to create here. Call it name. Logo, both. And that's what we want for that one. And what else do we need? Order. It's going to be numeric. And we're going to call this order. All right. And so now save our changes. Now let's go see what that looks like inside content as we create a new piece of content here. Sponsorship type, sponsor type. Okay. And this is going to be Just need to look at our current list of types. Sponsors. Excuse me. Name, logo, show info, position. So name, text systems. And we're going to take our iterative approach here. And we're only going to add one this time and see what happens when we get it back. And we're going to say text systems. So now we can pick from our assets. So that's a nice thing. I can do this and it should bring up a list of all the assets we currently have in there. So you could have somebody who's in charge of doing graphics. They could go dump all their graphics in here that can be used by the content creator. And so then they would go add them and drop them where they need them. Or it looks like I can just drop it right here. So let's do that. And I'm going to come back here, go to assets. Nope. And I'm going to open in File Explorer. Much easier on me this way. And we're going to grab our text systems. And we were using the textsystems.png. So that works. Move that over here. And drop the asset. Just drop it right in there. So now I don't have to actually leave my context, go to another window to do something, select it, and then add it back. Just drag and drop and you're ready to go. So we're going to have a logo. Come on. My mouse is still bothering me. And this is going to be our number one position. But why do we want ordering? Well, I guess you could start putting tiering. Once you get enough sponsors and stuff like that, and you want to potentially offer different levels, we could have that listed here, which would be actually, in my mind, another enumeration, but it also lets me order them on the page how I want them. Or I'd say how I want them, how the content creator wants them. In this case, Sean. And now we're going to publish this item. And we're going to publish it now. There are assets without a description. Hang on one second. Let's come back here. Ooh, I don't understand this. And so that's a question that we'll take back to the team to figure out, what does this mean? There are assets without a description. Oh, look at that. Okay. So let's talk about a little bit about what we just saw here. So Kentico's Kontent's actually doing something for you that as a web designer, we need to take into account, especially as far as accessibility is concerned. Normally when I do this, I'm not going to put any kind of accessibility stuff. I say normally. I should be. Accessibility is a big thing, and it's really important. Because again, you want to make sure we are not excluding anybody from being able to use our site. And so they're warning us. It's only a warning because they're not making it a hard error. But if I look at our image now, I have asset title, and I have a description in the default project language. And it says this description will be used as an alt text. That's important. So that's where our screen readers come in. So screen readers can't convey an image to you. At least not yet. That's an interesting AI thing. When I think about one of the AI experiments Microsoft was doing with one of the developers whose glasses would take a picture and tell him what it saw. A screen reader could do exactly the same thing. Take an image, look at it, and then try and describe it back. But again, you may want to give it something a little different. And so we're going to call this, just say text systems company logo. And that's going to be the alt text that's delivered back to us. So I'm going to update that. And now I'm going to publish. As you can see, my warnings are gone. I'm not seeing any kind of warnings there. And I'm just going to hit publish. So now it's out there. Now it's ready to go. Excuse me. All right. I apologize. I'm going to have to take another pause to go grab some more water because my throat is just not playing nice today. Our dry weather here is just killing me. So I will be right back. Another minute. 1 second, please. And we're back. Told you it wouldn't be too long. All right, let's see. Let's get going. We're ready to actually do work now. We're actually ready to code. We have our stuff. So let's get back to our content service. I'm going to add another method here. Excuse me. And this time we're actually going to, instead of getting our leadership, we're going to get sponsors. Same thing, we're going to return an IEnumerable. Turn an enumeration here of sponsor info. And we're going to call it get sponsors. Open, close, no parameters. Var result, await client.get items async. Again, except again, like before, we are not going to give it a type. We're going to get raw JSON so we can see what that looks like. And so we want a new equals filter again. And this is going to be a system.type again, because we're going to get our sponsor type. Boom, boom. And we do have to return something. And we want to turn new list of sponsor info. And that needs to be an await var result equals. And you're still complaining because... Why? Why are you complaining? New equals filter, system type to string. Get, oh, that's because I didn't do items. That was get item async. So get items. There we go. All right, now let's set our breakpoint. Let's set a breakpoint there. I'm going to add this method to our interface. And then we need to call it from our page. And this is most likely going to be used in our Razor page. So let's come down to pages. It's in our index page. It's actually in our sponsors component. Look at me getting a little fancy there. All right, here we go. So let's come down in here. We do need to add a couple little pieces here using Tulsa DNUG website dot core dot interfaces, and we need to add inject our iContent service called content service. And then we're going to use it down here. Var x equals await content service dot get sponsors. Perfect. All right. Now we're ready to start this up, and it should, if I set the breakpoint correctly, we should stop where I want it to. Or we'll see an exception. And we see an exception. Why do we see an exception? Oh. I actually know why this is happening. Because sponsor.info list is null now. Because I put my breakpoint in there, which paused. Yeah. Because of this await. We're not actually doing this. So, okay. Because we're not actually doing an if. We automatically assume that's going to be there. And if we have a slow or something like that, it's going to try and iterate that when it's not ready yet. So, it's not actually breaking where I want it to. So we need to do one piece here. And we're going to show nothing. If we don't have access, if we don't have anything, we don't want to show anything. So, at if sponsor info list is equal to null. Actually, we just say not equal because we're not going to display anything if we don't have anything. And then come down here. Close that up. Just pretty print it just a little bit here. Save it, rerun. There we go. So let's look at our results now. It should have one item in there. And there we go. We're getting better at this using our SDK. And that's what happens when you use something over and over again. You get better at it. Cody Gorilla says, can't you just declare it with the default value of an empty array? You can, except then it would still show the header. Now, I don't want to show anything. And so that's why I'm doing the if. I could do an if, sponsor info dot empty, but I'm just doing if it's null. Because I want to hide the header of sponsors as well. All right, list, here we go. Let's take a look at this. I want to look at what we're getting back. So we're getting back, okay. How do I view this as? I want to view this as just raw JSON. And I thought I had a JSON viewer built into this, but I don't see it. I don't see my little magnifying glass say, hey, let me just show you this. All right, we'll do that. First, okay. Root. Yeah, okay. It's not showing me everything I want to see, but that's okay. Name. Wow. All right, let's get back to it. Come here, result. That. Items. Content item. Elements within that. And I have children tokens. This is kind of this is what I want to see. Am I able to actually view that as... No, that's okay. All right. The company logo is really where I want to look at, what I want to focus on. Results view. Oh, wow. Come on. There we go. Too many layers there. Oh, that's rough sometimes debugging. But you look here, the value of the logo. So it gives us... Never can get everything I want just by looking at it. No, all right, too many layers deep. Wow. Let's try this again. And I'm actually going to pin. So the nice thing is I have the ability to pin something. And I'm going to pin that. And I want to look at this, which has children tokens. No, that's not what I want. Yep, actually it is what I want. Results view. Okay. Children tokens. Okay, so in this, I want this one. I'm going to pin this puppy. No, I want to pin it. Okay. So we have the URL. Oh, come on, folks. Here we go. This is what I want. Pin that puppy. 16,000 layers deep here. But I have this. I can't tell if the pin, okay, that should be pinned. All right. So as the elements I have on this logo is I have the name of the logo, techsystems.png. I have the description, which we're going to use as our alt text. I have its type, size, but I also have our URL, which if you notice, this is assets.us.01.kc-usercontent.com, our CDN provider here, and then all the information to get that image out of the CDN. All right, so let's see what it's going to take for us to actually get this and use this information, because right now we have it very simple. All right, so let's go. This asset, this logo type, is going to be the more complex piece, because I think we're going to need to enhance our object here. I think. I'm trying to run through different scenarios in my mind real quick, so I just take us down a path and get going. Items 1, content item. Oh, I wanted to look at something else while we were there. Hang on. So I wanted to look at that. I also wanted to look at what we had for our enumeration. So we had our show info, which is a type multiple choice, and a value is name and logo and codename logo. Okay. So now it's going to be interesting. How do we actually use this? How do we get that and deserialize that? So let's stop. I'm going to go to my sponsor info. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and deserialize this and see what we end up with. That looks right. And let's rerun this. And our result now, we should have an exception. Why do we have an exception? My guess is it tried to cast something where it couldn't be cast. So let's look at our sponsor info type real quick. name, logo, and my guess is this is the interesting one. So if I change this, let's stop this. We're going to add a couple pieces here. For where I think it could potentially be breaking. So you have two options. It could be the logo that it's breaking on, because we have this as a string and it's inside our actual management system. It's a more complex object. It could also be our show info enumeration we're doing here, that cast there. So I'm actually going to start with the enumeration. And I'm just going to call this object. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call it, naming is fun. Show info 2. But I'm going to add a data annotation to it. Because when we deserialize it, I want it to deserialize to this property instead of the other one, because they have the same name. And we want to say show underscore info. If I come back here, yes, that should work. Resolve, I use Control Dot to bring up that fun little context menu in Visual Studio. Okay, so let's run it again. And see, did that work or does it not? So let's look at our result again. Again, a system.argument exception. Okay. So that may not have been it. I'm going to then change this one to type object. Or leave that one as string. Create a new property here. Logo 2. I'm going to add a little, I want to tell a JSON deserializer, I want you to use this for logo. Now, could have something else here. Just a second, we'll see what happens. I'm going to change this to object. Because I have something else I'm going to try if this doesn't work. And we'll talk about it if this doesn't work. If it does, then cool. Don't have to worry about my next step. Yep. Okay. So I will tell you what I think is going on here. So it is still trying to deserialize. If these are the issues, they're still trying to deserialize to these other objects because they make sense. So we're going to tell them that they are not what we want. And hopefully that alleviates that issue. Logo 2. And if anybody knows whether this is, if that's what's happening or not, please chime in the chat room. And we're going to call this one show info 2. All right. Let's look at our result now. Yep, so that's what was happening. Now, which one is actually breaking it, I don't know. Because none of these actually came back as anything. We actually didn't deserialize anywhere. The logo or the show info. So let's go back and let's take another look here. What happens when we remove this and see what we get back again. Our result, we're going to get items. So we get one item. and it has children in it. So we have a name of name, logo. So this is coming back as show info, okay. But why it didn't deserialize to an object, I don't know. Okay. And so we were getting order, and I think we were getting name. So we'll start with the first thing I think we'll tackle, and that's going to be the enumeration. I think it's going to be the easier, or no? Is that? Let's look at this real quick. I think it's going to be the enumeration. So we're going to try that. So as we look at it here, it's value. It's actually a list of a type that has a name and a code name in it. So let's stop this. Excuse me. Pardon me. Actually, I want to try something. Sorry. Try this real quick. And I didn't deserialize. My dog's not happy at someone. Either somebody came to the door or my daughter is annoying her. So items, so it's this through an exception. So it couldn't deserialize to a type string. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. Actually, try another thing here. A enumerable of string. Because we did say it is a multiple, it's an array. I could say a string array. See if it deserializes that way. Sit back, get my lighting, my my camera's autofocus there. If I sit too close, it changes lighting, and it just you start to see my my little square. Okay, to run this. Results. Okay, so yeah. It didn't deserialize again. Okay. It's okay. It's all right. I was hoping it would, but it didn't. Okay. We need to go. We're going to change this type. We're going to add a new type here. Public show info type. Enumerable dynamic. Can you do that there? Coding Gorilla? I don't know the answer to that. Enumerable dynamic. I've actually never tried this. Let's find out, you know? That's what we're here to experiment. No, it didn't switch over automatically. That's fine. Nope, it does not like that. JSON Reader doesn't like that. So, oh, Sean suggested that. Sorry, I said Coding Gorilla. Sean suggested that. Yeah, it compiles, but you know what? When JSON looks at that and tries to figure something out, it doesn't work. So, deserializer does not like dynamic. And now you know. And knowing is half the battle. See, that's where I need the G.I. Joe. I need to get a new sound there. G.I. Joe sound. All right. We're going to say this is an enumerable of something to be determined here. public class show info type. Could use JObject. Okay. Yeah. IEnumerable of object. It compiles. Oh, stop, restart. JObject is a JSON.NET type that will give you better access to the internal JSON and the deserializer. True dat. So it didn't like that. So let's try the JObject. It's going to make me reference Newtonsoft. Okay. Nope, didn't like that either. Excuse me. That's okay. We're going with show info type. And we're going to call this string. And it's going to be name. I think it was name, right? And prop. Try JObject and not a collection. Okay. Code name was the other one. So Sean wants me. We should do this. It broke over here. There we go. Okay, show info 2 is still null. Everything should be able to be deserialized to JObject. It's almost the lowest possible class JSON.NET produces. Yet when it does it, it doesn't actually put anything there. So, I mean, if I make it an array of JObjects, does that work? An array of nothing. Wait a second. Oh, okay. I was confused why this was actually showing something. It's giving a default value of the enumeration. Okay. Position 0, name, text. So those are coming in right. But our other one's not. Okay. So let's try this. Let's try show info type array. No, wait. If it's null, then it must be null in the JSON. No, it's not null in the JSON, though. We saw that. Let's see what we get here. Still null. Why is that? All right. We're going to make 2 calls here. Result 1 and result 2. Maybe the JSON property name is wrong. Yeah, what's shown W? Well, let's take a look. Let's do that. No, you're wrong. Sorry. So result 1 is actually given us. Let's start with result 2. We get our item. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back up here and let's look at result 1, which has our objects in it. So items, elements. The one we are going to be looking at, I have to look at all these children tokens, is going to be show underscore info. So there's what it's resolving. Oh, but it's not resolving the value. But still, why wouldn't it? It was the correct type because that's what we put on the sponsor info object. Show underscore info. Which it resolves correctly. At least that's what we think. But it's not. It's not coming down. It's not resolving the value to our types. I mean, that's a string, name and code name. There's got to be an easier way to do this. Right? Because right now it's resolving the value. So it's giving you this and it's resolving the value. And that's what it should be doing. So it should be taking this and trying to resolve the value piece. Which this is an array of a name. Can you deserialize the whole result as JObject? So that would be var result. We'll just use this one. Yeah. JObject. Like that. Right. Copy and paste that item to details to Notepad. All right, 1 second, my friend. So we have result 2. Result 2 is a JObject. So there you go. It did resolve it to a JObject, which has all these pieces to it, which looks exactly like what we get from up here. Well, similar once they decompose. Oh, it didn't. Look, the children didn't come through. So I have an item, but once it gets down to the item piece, it doesn't actually resolve down there. You should be able to get the raw. Yeah, I have the whole raw JSON right here. Oh, I don't have. Actually, I don't. The SDK is probably doing something on the background. We'd have to dig way into the SDK, and I don't know that I want to go that far into it just yet. But what I can do, because Sean said, hey, get that JSON for that object, that item. And we can do that. And he wants me to paste it in a Notepad++. Let's see, do I have that on this machine? I do. You're in luck. It says there's an update, but we will hold off on the update for now. Ooh, that's bright. Okay, there you go, Sean. Or just Notepad. I got Notepad++, my friend. There's your stuff. There it is. What does it consider a child? That I don't know. So here is our object we're getting back that we want to get. Make it large so we can see. Oh, Sean, get glasses, my friend. Just kidding. Better? Now they can see it in Ohio. All right. So we have show info, which is what we're deserializing. If we come back here and look at what some of the other ones that actually work are. Snable says you can see it in Norway. See, I could probably get it from the International Space Station if we wanted. An element that we know that works, that deserializes correctly, and that's going to be this one right here. Whoa. So this one deserializes correctly. Show info doesn't render it all right. So that is correct. It doesn't, it comes back as null. So if I stop this, show info has a child that is an array. So yes, correct. The value is an array. So what we've seen, and I'm going based off what we saw with this item down here. When it deserializes, when it's deserializing, it's trying to deserialize the value into the type of the property. Which is why we made, if we come back here and look at sponsor info, it is show info, which is what we're trying to deserialize, is into an array of show info type. And it has a name and a code name. If we look at this, we have a name and a code name. Does the deserializer have a flag to chase children? So we're using the default one built into the SDK. I don't know exactly what it's doing. So let's do something. Let's take a walk on the wild side here and let's go to the content. And see if we can't look a little bit at how we deserialize these other pieces. Show info type is the child object of show info. Correct. Okay, so maybe I'm... Okay, so help me out here. Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. So is what you're saying I need, let's go. Let me see if I'm picking up what y'all are laying down. I'm going to change it up just a second here. Show info. I'm going to call it show info type, and this is going to be show info details type. And okay, and so what we're saying, I need a show info details type, which is an array of these. And I need, do I call it value? Do I just call it value like that? Does that work? Because I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out is what is this value? Okay, let's try it. And I have to put the correct type in here. Try it one more time. Okay, let's look at result 2. Result 2, I have an item deserialized correctly. Show info to is still null. Still didn't work. The deserialization did not work for whatever reason. So let's look at the... here we go. There we go. Okay. So we have our show info, which now has its own property in it. We called it value. You don't think I changed the main class? Let's look. So show info type, which goes to this one. So this is sponsor info, which if we start back here, we're deserializing to sponsor info. So we go back here. Sponsor info has our show info with show info type of an array. Yep. I wonder, let's just give it a shot here. And we're going to call this value. Excuse me. Try value. Well, so, okay, so this should take care of that, right? So I'm just telling it exactly. Results 2. Linked items, type sponsor info, show info 2. All right. Name or name, code name or code name. I can tell them exactly. And we can get funky here. I'm sorry, not funky. We can get explicit here. Yeah, I was with Coding Gorilla on that. That's why I wasn't too worried about the casing. I just wanted to name them. If I name them exactly the same, the casing JSON deserializer kind of takes care of that. But we will just validate and, yeah, no bueno. Okay. All right, we're gonna go look at documentation on strong typing here. I know we saw something earlier about looking at strong types, working with strongly typed models. And so this may be where I need to let the model type. We have something that will actually create the types for us for the models we have. But what I want to look at is for image. What is this? Nothing about an image in there. Is it? Oh, multiple choice. Sorry. Multiple choice. Okay. Well, look at that. Holy smokes, folks. This is why you should need the documentation. I will learn one of these days to go look at the documentation first. Yeah, yep, I'm with you, Sean. Facepalm like no other. All right. Let's go to our sponsor info, and we're going to change this to this. This wants to resolve. It should have to resolve, but hey, wait a second. What namespace is this in? Kentico Kontent delivery. Multiple choice option. Okay, I'm not running it. Show potential fixes. I don't want to generate a type. Oh, I don't have that added to this project. But I don't want to. Let's look at the installed. Excuse me. I don't want to install all of this other stuff into my model. I want a types piece that I would put in there. But this exists within the delivery package, which I would have to add the delivery package. Yeah, you're right. I know. I don't want to do that either. Come on, mouse. Work with me here. I guess I'm having trouble, Sean, picturing how that works with my core. And I don't know that I'm ready to go down the facade pattern just yet. Yeah, see, that's what I want. I want a models package, an interfaces package, something like I have my core package here that just has all the POCOs in it. I want that for this type of situation. So we're going to take that. We're going to put it in our core here. I mean, it's already part of our root, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, but it does matter to me. Because at the end of the day, once everything gets compiled, all the DLLs start going, and they end up in the same spot. So at the end of the day, it doesn't, but it adds a dependency on a bulky library that I don't want it to. And I think that's the heartburn I'm dealing with. So there we go. All right, my friends. Let's see. Fingers crossed. And the survey says no. Why? Why? Oh. Okay. All right. What did I miss here? What did I miss on that? Okay, so let's look at this. Type is multiple choice. I come back here to my sponsor info. Type is multiple choice option, which is what our documentation said to use. Now I'm not feeling this right now. So let's go look at this. You can find sample models here. Let's go look at a sample model. What does this thing look like? INumerable. Look at that. Oh, where is it? Where is what I want?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right. Ain't nobody got time for INumerable multiple choice option. Whoa, too much. All right, my friends, here we go. And survey says, look at that. That's the right answer, INumerable. I don't like it though. Oh man, that is just so bulky. So, I guess this is where my heartburn comes in. I made it a radio button because I only wanted one item. I only wanted it to be one. I have to do a little bit of extra logic now. Not terrible. Okay. All right. Let's get going. Let's do the next one here. Let's come back to here. And let's make this logo. And it said a type of asset, right? So, IEnumerable asset field. All right, stop and restart, right? Yep, let's see. Restart it, rebuilding. Let's check it out. And survey says... There it is. So now we got our logo information here. So now we can see it a little bit more. We get our description, which is going to be our alt text, and our URL. So we're not terrible. Not in the end, not what I wanted. At least it's not JSON. Sean is right. At least it's not JSON. Okay. All right, let's continue on. It should actually probably break. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore, because our other deserializer doesn't work. That's fine. That's fine. Stop this. So now we come over here. Let's go back to the Razor page real quick. Sponsors.razor. Okay. So now if we change this, I received 4 terabytes of JSON data per day from our trackers. So 4 terabytes of JSON. Holy smokes, my friend. And we're gonna change some of this real quick. And comment that out. Okay. So now let's do this one. So we have to do something a little bit differently. Change our logic just a little bit. Man. All right, we're almost done. We're getting so close. I need 1 second again. My apologies for all these little breaks. All right, and we're back. All right, my apologies. My body's passing water like an elephant passes gas. Normally I can make it through a whole show without having to do this, but something different today. All right, move back. My lighting's all screwed up just a little bit here. Knocked over one of my lights whenever I ran it from away from the desk. If I can't fix it. All right. Good enough. We're going to finish it up here anyways. This is good enough. All right. All right. So we have to do something a little bit different because now we're dealing with an enumeration. Not an enumeration. I guess we can... Running through some things in my head here of how we could handle this. Make it work, make it right, make it fast. Yes. All right. So we're just going to make it work. So we want a couple things here. If sponsor dot show info to, so that's the property we're working with, dot contains it's an array, right? I should have looked at that object a little closer. Hang on. All right, let's pause for a second. Let's rerun this so I can look at that object just a little bit closer. You need a lambda. All about the lambdas here. Okay, so there's that. Show info to, which has an item in it that has a name equal to logo. Okay. So if I come over to my Razor page here, I don't want you to... Oh, yeah, stop that. Whoa, I broke it. Hot reload. Holy smoke, I broke Visual Studio. It actually crashed Visual Studio. I haven't done that in a while. All right. All right, now we're back in action. We're back. Whew. At if sponsor dot show info to dot contains C or S equals S dot name S dot what's name here? I'm not sure because it's not a delegate type. Hang on. That's dot name. Wait a second. That equals name. Yeah. So this. So cannot convert lambda expression to multiple choice option because it is not a delegate type. You're searching an array, but S I'm searching an array, which this gives me S, which is multiple choice option. Show info to is an IEnumerable. S dot name equals name. That's actually what it is. Okay, and now it does not like that because S, but so is likely correct here, I think. You have to import the system.link namespace. Okay. Okay, we can do that. At using system.link. And still no. Cannot convert lambda expression to type. try something here. Use any instead of contains. Okay. Dot any s dot name is equal to name. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So do the same thing again. Else if sponsor.show info 2 dot any s dot name equals logo. Do that. And last but not least, else if it doesn't contain one, contains the needs to contain both. Okay. So now we copy some of this stuff up. And then this one. Oh, my mouse. Yeah, Coding Gorilla, I was with you there. I thought there was a similar overload for contains, but obviously not. What if it contains both name and logo? So it shouldn't. So the way I created the type, it's a radio button. All right, hang on one second. Let me close this out. Control KC. You didn't like that? Control EC. Whoa. No. Control KC. No, won't let me comment that out. Bye-bye. Excuse me. So if we go back to our type that we defined, it's one of them. You can only select one, so it's a radio button choice. It shouldn't start before. Yeah, so I'd have to change the type. So this is where you want to potentially safeguard. So if someone changes this to a checkbox where you can have multiple items selected, that's why the multiple choice option is an array instead of just a single item like I'd want. But I get it, trying to make everything generic. You want to try and safeguard that. We're using name, logo on both. So it's going to have, if it's got name, then logo. And if it doesn't have either one of those, it's got both. So yeah, it shouldn't. But someone would have to change the type. They'd have to have permission to change the type. So there are permission models built into the management system here, into Kentico Kontent, which then I would set up to say only certain people can do types. Only certain people can do content creation. You can set up workflows for approvals gates and all that kind of stuff. You can put in multiple checks and balances, but at the end of the day, when somebody changes something on one area and doesn't tell the other hand, things happen. That's why we still have jobs, right? All right, let's try this. Let's see if this works now. Should get one. Actually, it won't. I should actually get, because I think we have logo selected and, no, I don't. What's breaking here? What broke? Build. 2 errors. Get rid of the warnings. I only want to see the errors. We have a failure to communicate here. When in doubt, clean it out. So let's run. Well, it ran before just a second ago. So I think the other VS instance cleaned itself. But yeah, again, yeah, we can't copy. I don't have that page still running. So cleaning the solution didn't solve it. Let's check out Task Manager here. So I do have 2 instances of Visual Studio running. I can close my other one. We can close them all out. Let's do that. That's one gone. Closing down the other one. So now we only have code running. Yeah, something was locking those files. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Let's see, do we have anything down here with Visual Studio in its title? Some Edge stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs, 5, 6. Okay, those are fine, I think. VS Code. Okay. Bring up 2019 again. Loading it up, bringing it back into view. Still loading projects. There we go. Okay. No. Common current version targets. Do I have? Hang on. Let me see if I've got. No, that's not right. I don't have IS Express running. All right. So this is telling me unable to copy that. Usually at this point I have to, I don't want to reboot. I mean, I can. It won't break the stream. It's just annoying as all get out. Clean the solution. Says it succeeded, but it didn't. Delete. Try again. Can't be clear because the folder or a file open it's opening another program. Grr. Let's see. So if I rename it, okay. Let's see if Snable. Let's see what happens here. Don't break the stream. Don't cross the streams, Venkman? Where's my Visual Studio? All right. Ah, the Ghostbusters. All right, so now let's try this again. There we go. Okay, yeah. So Snable helped us out there. A restart is probably it is going to be needed to fix those files, but we are on our way again without reboot. Thank you, Snable, for that little peachy piece of wisdom, because that's what we need. Let's see. This won't work. We should get something at least. Okay, so that, perfect. It's what I expected, because what happened is I've not updated the logo piece yet. I think we're right. When I crashed Visual Studio last time, it hosts something. But okay, sponsor logo. So there's the image source. So that we're changing this now. So it's no longer logo. It's going to be .logo2 . And I'm going to say first .url, and alt is going to be at sponsor .logo2 . And we need to fix this. Again, make it work. Make it right. Make it fast. Description. And yeah, sometimes the IntelliSense doesn't work right. My dots there. Okay, but we do need to copy this guy down here. This guy or gal, I guess. This object. I don't want to objectify my C#. All right. Still not there. Why not? What happened? Let's go. Oh, I have my function lock on. F12. All right, what happened? So console. Not sure what that one is. Let's go to elements here. Down here. UL, nothing inside that container. That's wrong, isn't it, folks? I'll cancel that one. Okay. Let's look at our Razor page again. Okay, so we have something in the list. So we are ordering by position, which is 0. We call this order. JSON property order. Okay, so that fixes that. But come right down to it. Show info to is name may not. Well, I should have at least gotten the last one, right? All right, let's restart. Let's put a breakpoint in and restart. See what we're getting. Oh, we do have a breakpoint in. Restart. Okay, so, oh. Well, yeah, that's a problem. Oh, this is those. And Stable says this is at 11 o'clock hour, the 11th hour issue here. We're like this close, and it's these little crappy things that trip us up. All right, stop. Return result 2. No. Okay, result 2 is it's that, which is a delivery response, but I want an enumeration of it. So here we get back an enumerable of leader, but when I do this, okay, why is this different? Sponsor info, enumerable sponsor info. Cannot input your delivery. Why? You can do it up here. Oh, no, you can't. Result 2. Oh. There we go. Okay. All right. That tells me it's getting late. That tells me this stream's getting a little long for me. I think it's Friday and I'm wearing down. My body saying or my mind is saying it's time to go. Oh, look at that. It looks so pretty. Ah, yes. I love it. All right. I think that's it. So we've looked at that now. So let's clean this up just a little bit. I want to clean this up so much. And I'm debating, how do I clean that up? So there's a little bit of logic that I want to build in here, and I'm trying to debate, is it the right spot to put in this logic to say, I don't want to have to go grab the first one every time. That's spent cycles I don't want to incur. I can get the logo once, but I need to get it in the for each. So I put it, okay. There we go. Can I do a var in here? Logo equals sponsor dot logo 2 dot first. Okay. So I can do that. So we clean it up. So now I'm not incurring this anymore. Okay, I feel better now. Because I don't like having to do that. And now we could do the same thing here and go simplify our other logic and display equals sponsor dot show info 2 dot first. Okay, and now I can change this to display dot name equals and string comparison dot invariant culture ignore case. Another one of those. Okay. All right. Come down here, do the same thing again. We'll just go ahead and copy this. Simply because I don't want to type all that. Logo. Okay, and then if it's not either one of those, it's both. So that should work, and that simplifies. That takes some heartburn out for me. I don't have to go. The display, that wasn't too bad, but when you get into the logo and you have to get multiple pieces of it, much better. Okay. Let's hit it again. We'll clean that up here in a second. I'll leave that in there so it tells me to go clean that up. And there we go. Oh, MS is also working on an ITP like tech. What's ITP, Snable? Help us out here. All right, so let's go clean this up. We're going to change this to result. I don't want this. Change this back to result.items. Check, looks good. And now I can run this application. And now my website's up. So the beauty part is, now that I've got this, I could deploy this site as is. Exactly how it is. Because then I can come in here and I can now go over here and back into here. Oh. Hang on one second. I've got a little visitor. Mackenzie, come here. You got a little one singing to me right now. Okay, so we need to... I don't know why this added that's here. That's an interesting piece. How it added another one. But I need to add another one anyway. So we're going to go, let's go look at our list here of information. I'm going to put e-links in here. Because we're going to let Sean change this. And we're going to go grab our assets here. I want to get back to my solution real quick. Right here. Pop that open. Go to these assets. Open in File Explorer. That feels weird. There we go. Okay. There and then here. And then so I can drop in the e-links one. Just right there. Drop that in and go. You say logo. Order number 2. And we're going to publish this. Oh, I didn't finish it. E-links company logo. Update. Publish. Publish now. All right, so now I publish this new item. So I said a second ago, I don't have to go rebuild and rerun my website because this is all dynamic now. So I refresh, and there it is. E-links is now popping in there. Awesome. So now we can go in and update all our content and get everything running, and boom, our website's just going to automatically update. No change, published, redeploy. If the site's working as is and we change the content, you shouldn't have to fix the site anymore. You shouldn't have to redeploy or publish the site, which is why we're working with content management. And I think we're going to end right there because that's... Oh. So I want to say one more thing. So as I'm looking at this, as I'm building out this content item, all these pieces of content, it's starting to feel like a lot. It's like, okay, this is a lot of stuff to look at. Cool thing is, we've got you covered. We can filter by specific type, so you only see the pieces you want to work with. It does make things a little more manageable, but if you want to look at them all, which is typically where I stay, I've got this to look at. So, excuse me. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a few more of these things, but I'm going to end this. I'm probably going to do that here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right now. Let's go take a look. Do we have any other amazing streamers out there that are going on live here? Twitch. TV / teams / coders. Let's see. We got anybody out there? That's not right, evidently. Is it single team? Okay, here we go. So we've got a few people out there. Hey, look, there's me, Developers Garage. We've got some people out there. What are these our friends working on today? Lana Lux is a game dev. Instafluff is a microwave potato chip. Okay, interesting. Ravenfall, let's start working. So game dev again. JitterTed, what are you working on? WebSockets, Vue, Java, TDD, game development. Okay. In Freeman, Play Review Project, Linux System D. Wow. Is anybody out there? JitterTed is nice. Okay. I like it. We've got it. Let's go say hi to JitterTed. Tell him you came from Developers Garage and you had an amazing time. Hopefully you did. If not, come back. I'm sure we got something for you. Anyways, tell JitterTed you're coming. You're excited to see what he's got going on. Thanks everyone for hanging around. And I will catch you next Wednesday, 12 o'clock, CST. So translate that. I think it's 6. What is it? 12? 6 p.m. UTC. There we go. I'll get these right one of these days. Jitter. All right. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this command right here. Raid. Jitter. Ted. Oh, and yep, don't forget Star Trek. Check out YouTube. SNL Star Trek Restaurant. SNL Restaurant Enterprise. Check it out. All right. Be rating. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. Catch you on the flip side.